Subham, we need recording. No, I don't think so.
The more intensely we feel about an idea or a goal, the more assuredly the idea, buried deep in our subconscious, will direct us along the path to its fulfillment. With this, I, Manvi Saraswat, welcome you all in 41st Graduate Scholar Talk series hosted by History Society Saksha and IQAC Internal Quality Assurance Cell. This series is started as an initiative to present your scholarly views on variety of topics. This series is coordinated by Mr. Saurabh Singh, Mr. Ajay Gupta, Ms. Samriddhi Kanpal, Ms. Shubhi Singh, and by me. Now, Saraswati Vandana invokes the goddess Saraswati, who represents purity, truth, knowledge, and creativity. So I would invite Ms. Divya for Saraswati Vandana.
मातृ प्रणाम 1 2 3 या कुन्देन्दु तुषार हार धवला या शुभ्रवस्त्रावृता या वीणावरदण्डमण्डितकरा या श्वेतपद्मासना या ब्रह्माच्युत शङ्कर प्रभृतिभिः देवैः सदा वन्दिता सा मा पातु सरस्वती भगवती निशेषजाड्यापहा। श्लोक अर्थ। जो विद्या की देवी भगवती सरस्वती कुंद के फूल, चंद्रमा, हिमराशि और मोती के हार की तरह धवल वर्ण की है और जो श्वेत वस्त्र धारण करती है, जिनके हाथ में वीणा दंड शोभ्यमान है, जिन्होंने श्वेत कमलों पर आसन ग्रहण किया है तथा ब्रह्मा, विष्णु एवं शंकर आदि देवताओं द्वारा जो सदा पूजित हैं, वही संपूर्ण जड़ता और अज्ञान को दूर कर देने वाली माँ सरस्वती हमारी रक्षा करें।
Thank you so much, Ms. Divya. Now, I would like to welcome our respected guest of honor, Dr. Nicolin Hawkett, who is an assistant professor from Department of Economics at Shamlal College Evening, University of Delhi. Sir has done his MSc in Economics and Financial Economics from University of Nottingham, United Kingdom, and his PhD from Delhi School of Economics, University of Delhi. He has also worked as an assistant professor at Shriram College of Commerce and Dayal Singh College Evening, University of Delhi. Sir has published various research articles and has immense knowledge on stock market, imperialism, macroeconomics, and many others. His areas of interest include time series, econometrics, and macroeconomics. Sir, I request you to please grace us with your words.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Firstly, I thank the Department of History for inviting me to your prestigious graduate scholarship talk series. It's a privilege for me to join you, and personally, I would like to thank Manish sir. His initiative not only for the history department but for the Northeast students and other activities in the college has been well appreciated. And as a department, I should say that you all are very fortunate to have a person like Manish sir who could guide you and give you all sorts of personality development apart from the rich knowledge which he has. And today's topic is very interesting, and I would also give my best strategical, and if I have to make any comments after the talk, or maybe then I will take up my time again. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Now here comes the main part of the series, the talk of the program. So I would invite Ms. Mehak, who is going to present her opinions on the topic, problems of startups and NGOs in India.
Thank you so much, Manvi. Just a minute, let me present my. Okay. So, let us start today's session with some hot headlines presenting on your screens right now that have been making rounds since the past month or so. Nika's giant debut, market cap crosses rupees 1 lakh crore. Zomato's IPO is the biggest since Coal India and the biggest in more than a decade. Byju's make its 9th acquisition in 2021 since its inception. Paytm's $2.5 billion initial public offering means new millionaires in India. Even if you are an avid newsreader or not, even if you are a person with an interest in finance or not, I'm pretty sure that each one of you present here today must have heard the names of these companies and have come across these big headlines about the achievement that these Indian firms, or should I say big brands, are making in the market today. Today, we all have their application installed on our smartphones, but little do we know about their journey that began back a decade or a half since they came into limelight. Similarly, very few of us knew about NGOs and their significance until the pandemic struck, and they were the ones providing essential services from oxygen cylinders to hospital bed leads and whatnot. Everybody talks about the fairy tale like success stories, but a handful know about the struggles and hardships that they had and numerous others have to face to overcome and to reach where they stand today. Together, let's find out. Good evening, respected Manish sir, Nicole and Hawkett sir, and the lovely audience present here. My name is Mehak Khandelwal, and I'm privileged to be presenting my research paper and to welcome you all to the 41st Graduate Scholar Talk session on the subject, The Challenges Faced by Startups and NGOs in India. I hope you all enjoy and take away something meaningful from the talk today. Let's get started. You all must be aware that India is a developing country. Since several years, the world has seen India and her 130 crore population as job seekers and hence tried to tap our human resources as a source of cheap labor force that they can exploit for their own industrial and developmental advancements. But recent studies, research, and news reports, as discussed earlier, have shown that the Indian people, and mostly the young generation, instead of becoming an employee, are now trying to create employment opportunities for the masses through entrepreneurship, whether social or profit based. I believe many of you present here today also dream of creating something of your own someday. This serves as an evidence for the tremendously growing startup culture and also the establishment of non-governmental organizations. Nowadays, most of the college graduates are ditching their high-paid multinational packages to venture into these new spaces and to make India progress towards the dream of becoming a developed nation. Innovation, technology, imagination, passion, patience, and genuineness are some key components on which this whole ecosystem is based upon. But the road taken is not that easy. Through our discussion today, we will first understand the concept of startups and NGOs, their why aspect, and the similarities and differences between them. Then we shall look over various hardships and challenges that most startups and NGOs suffer through their nascent stages. Though both seem quite different business models, but they are based upon the pillar of entrepreneurship and hence face some similar problems. This will be done by analyzing the information sourced through primary and secondary databases like surveys, journals, magazines, newspaper articles, etc., along with the help of facts and stats. And finally, after understanding the problems, we will simultaneously talk about some practical and feasible solutions that can be implemented for better functioning of their plans and make the journey a little smoother. Let us first perceive the difference between models of startups and NGOs, why are they important, and the evolution of both these ecosystems in our country. Starting with startups. A startup may be defined as a business model born out of a potential idea which, with the help of innovation, technology, and entrepreneurial spirit, develops a product or service through disruption of existing or by creation of entirely new markets. Not to bombard you with big numbers, but the facts on your screens speak for itself. These must have given you a fair idea of the extent of startup culture in India. You all must hear this word, startup, every here and there, every now and then. But its beginning in India traces way back. Startup, in its most simple sense, means great execution of even a greater idea. And India has proved to be a box of full of them. From invention of wheel to giving the world zero, yoga, and Ayurveda, India has done it all. Startups are important for a country as they help in cementing one's global position, spreading its soft power, and getting noticed by the world around. They are the parameter that showcases our development, our potential, and also helps in creating new opportunities of livelihood for our population. Now, talking about non-governmental organizations, abbreviated as NGOs, are non-profit making institutions established by passionate individuals that work for social welfare of the living as a whole. They either work to support a particular group or community or they take initiative and target a particular cause. Hence, their goals include wide spectrum of kind acts depending upon their objective and mission. Again, figures on the screen give an overview of their strength in our country, and after going through a global pandemic, I think you all must understand what these organizations mean to a country. Their names might not be taken first when speaking about the saviors of a country, but this is exactly what they are. Be it health, education, environment, children, women, or welfare in general. The list of the things that they do and have done during the pandemic is endless. Not only do they provide selfless service themselves, but also inspire others around them to do so. However, comparing both the ecosystems, we can safely say that in the current scenario, where startups are at a sustaining and thriving state, NGOs are slowly emerging and still at their nascent stage. Despite helping the human race in one way or the other, both startups and NGOs face various roadblocks since their inception. As I said earlier, the youth of a nation plays the major role in establishment of both of these organizations. So to understand their viewpoint better, I conducted a survey and received around 300 plus responses for the same. You can see the response sheet screenshot on your screens right now. For confidentiality purposes, the names and other details have been blurred out. The survey questionnaire that I circulated had the following questions. You can go through them once. Now let me tell you the results of it. The most important conclusion that I was able to draw from the survey was that out of 300 plus people that filled the form, 154, that is nearly 50%, wanted to launch a startup someday in their lives, and 25 of them currently even had their own small business store on Instagram. 62 people wished to establish an NGO. In the startup, the most sought sector was edtech and fashion and lifestyle, and for the NGO, it was generally women-centric and either for animals. The rest of the survey takers either wanted to do a job, carry forward their family business, or wished to, but were afraid to take their first step in the required direction. The most common problems that came in the answers were that of funding, market competition, not knowing where to start, and revenue generation for both startups and NGOs. Moving on towards nationwide research reports. It has been widely reported that 92% or 11 out of 12 startups failed as of 2019. According to the findings of a survey by the Institute of Business Value and Oxford Economics, 90% of India's startups fail within the first 5 years. Similarly, many NGOs also fail even before they are fully established and registered. but not much statistical data is available on the subject. Though different in structure, both these ventures share the same core, that is entrepreneurship, and therefore face some mutual hardships in their way. Further, these problems can be categorized into two phases: challenges faced in the founding phase and challenges faced in the sustaining phase. Now, let us go through them one by one through case and research evidences and try to comprehend the reasons. Starting with the founding phase, the very first hurdle that one's come across is coming up with a meaningful idea. Startup space has become a space with no oxygen and variability in terms of some sectors like edtech. You must have heard of many edtech companies like Byju's, Vedantu, Imbibe, Topper, etc. Therefore, the first step is to stand out and bring something purposeful to the table, something that has the potential to solve people's problem and bring about a revolution in society by targeting new sectors like agriculture. Uniqueness is actually a trait that can't be compromised with. Now, if you have an idea and want to start a startup but want to know its potential, you can conduct a market research about it. There are various ways to do it at an individual level when you are starting out for both startups and NGOs, like serving your target audience by circulating Google Forms over social media with the help of your friends and family connections, studying current ventures in your sector, identifying where they lack, trying to incorporate those elements in your model, going through their customer database review for understanding customer needs, and reading topic focused business magazines to learn valuable resources about working are some you can use while starting out, and these won't even cost a penny. Next is funding and financing. Money always plays a major factor in any business, and so startups and NGOs are obviously no different. Though there are many options available, such as friends, family, angel investors, seed investors, incubators, government schemes, etc., but first people have a little knowledge about them, and it is still tough to extract money from them because no one is willing to invest their hard earned money on just an idea or charity. A recent report even paints a gloomy picture with 85% of new organizations reportedly underfunded, indicating potential failure. To overcome this hurdle, you need to learn the art of pitching and connecting. There are various conferences, webinars, and meetups happening on a daily basis. You can leverage platforms like LinkedIn or Indeed for details like these because these platforms are filled with such information. There, in these like events, you get the opportunity to talk to investors directly and pitch your product and service. Similarly, to get donations for your NGO, you need to convince people to support your cause and understand what difference it will make in the society. Now, next in line is government regulations. Starting a business requires a number of documentations and permissions from government, from getting patent to registering to taxation rules, etc. Many startups and NGO founders have to go through rigorous processes in doing so. It is a very time consuming process and hinders the growth of the company as there is not much economic liberalization in India as of now. Though these are some stringent rules and regulations imposed by the government, which are of course necessary for a country to function properly, but on the brighter side, there are also various schemes and programs whose benefits young founders can avail to upscale their ventures. Let me tell you about them one by one. First is Startup India. This initiative provides 3-year tax and compliance breaks intended for cutting government regulations. Second is Mudra Yojana. Through this scheme, startups get loans from the banks to set up, grow, and stabilize their businesses. Third is Self-Employment and Talent Utilization Fund, also called the SETU Fund. Government has allotted Rs 1000 crore in order to create opportunities for self-employment and new jobs mainly in technology-driven domains. Fourth is eBiz portal. Government launched eBiz portals that integrates 14 regulatory permissions and licenses at one source to enable faster clearances and improve the ease of doing businesses in India. And fifth is royalty tax. Indian government has reduced the royalty tax paid by businesses and startup firms from 25% to 10%. And this list is actually not exhaustive, so you can benefit from them at different stages of your venture. Next up is lack of risk appetite. Self-belief is the first stepping stone towards journey of success, But unfortunately, many budding entrepreneurs and socialists lack this extremely important aspect. Without having faith in oneself, one cannot take risks, and without risk, there is no reward. Founders of startups and NGOs need to embrace and take calculated risks and experiment with the products and services. Want to hear a fun fact? Baidu Ravindran, founder of Byju's, delayed the idea of founding Byju's for 7 years just because he thought he wasn't ready. And today, Byju's is one of the unicorns of India. See, no one can see the future, but when you courageously take that first step, you automatically become so much better than those who just do the talking. We all prepare for exams, don't we? Not knowing their results. So, why not prepare for this as well? Something which may be your dream. As Thomas Edison said, I have not failed. I have just found 10,000 ways that won't work. So, here's your today's motivation. Now, even if somehow you muster up courage to step into a completely unexplored territory, the Indian mentality strikes in to make the going get even tougher. Most middle class families want their children to attend a reputed college and then bag a decent package and be an employee for the rest of their lives. Even the thought of taking risk is too dangerous, let alone doing it. As it is famously said that "Log kya kahenge" has stopped more people than fear ever will. True, as shared in an interview, Oyo founder Ritesh Agarwal left his home at the age of 20 to escape logo ki baatein. And answer for this follows from the previous one. If you believe in yourself, then only the world will believe in you. As simple as that. After laying the foundation of an organization, the next step is for the organization to thrive in the real world. And most essential thing for that is branding and strategizing techniques. The power of branding and marketing is often underestimated in light of focusing upon the quality of the products and service offered. Most NGOs focus on building infrastructure and providing services instead of empowering people and institutions locally, which often have a stronger impact. The most efficient and appealing way of marketing today is through social media. Customers get attracted through memes and influencer marketing very well. A notable example of that is none other than Zomato. I'm sure you must have cracked a smile while going through its social media post at least once. So, create your organization's social media handle and market your service or create a buzz about what you do in the most creative way. If you're not skilled enough for it, you can have freelancers and copywriters for the same through these platforms as well at cheap cost. For people that experience your service, you can create a feedback form as well and get insight of your performance that will help you do much better in the future. Next in line is the problem of talent acquisition. Hiring talented individuals on board is the key factor, and it is a major requirement for both startups and NGOs. But the problem is, many people these days are not interested in charity and they want to live lavish lives. Also, skilled personnel does not want to be a part of startups because of low pay and uncertainty of the job and the company. So for hiring, you first need to list down the values that you desire in a candidate and then create an attractive job post for them through platforms like LinkedIn or by approaching internship and placement cells of colleges and conducting interviews. See, India is a young country with 65% of its population falling under the age bracket of 25 to 35 years. Some may consider our population as a bane, but it's a boon here and you can use this demographic dividend as your advantage. Next is mergers and acquisitions, also called as M&As. This is another hurdle in the pathway of sustenance. Where merger applies combining of two companies and striking a partnership, and acquisition is when one company purchases most of or all of other companies' shares to gain control of that company. In 2018, Walmart purchased Flipkart's 77% shares for $16 billion, making it India's largest acquisition ever. However, on the brighter side, some unicorn startups in India have established themselves well enough to be the acquitter and not the acquitted. Biggest example you ask, on your screen, Byju. And last but not the least comes up the most significant problem of revenue generation. This is the factor that determines whether a startup or an NGO will sustain in the market or not. As time goes by, many new companies and organizations fail to generate enough revenue to continue their practices. As a result, they keep looking for more and more investors, which often results in adverse effects. So, if you want to get returns for your company, you need a good amalgamation of quality, marketing, hiring, strategizing, etc. You can get some help and devise a strategy for it through pro bono consultancy firms and get some aid, that too absolutely free. On screens is a model I fabricated for an NGO while working with such a firm. We tried to address the issues of hiring, marketing, awareness, and fundraising together through designing their internship program for a month. And within 3 months of implementation of this program, their Instagram followers reached to whopping 10,000 from a mere 600, and their internship program also flourished well with more and more number of volunteers incoming each month. With this, the session comes to an end. In the nutshell, I would just like to say that India is seeing an exponential rise in startup and NGO establishment. This is a great step towards building a developed economy. It will also tackle the problem of brain drain and the growing population of India, as it will create ample of quality employment opportunities for individuals who are talented and passionate about leaving a mark in the betterment of society. Though there are many problems, but Government of India is enthusiastic about the plans of young generation and hence provides plethora of programs and other choices to choose from. You just have to be vigilant enough to know about them. Though the success rates of startups is less than 1% today, but it is not only because of the problems discussed, but also due to lack of perseverance, persistence, and the habit of quitting too soon in today's youth. Good things take time, and you need to hang in there to experience it. Did you know that the Ola cab that you travel in these days, it was founded in 2010? You never had an idea about it then. It gained momentum half a decade after it was found. Just like Ola, maybe some of the new startups and non-profits will one day emerge as multinational companies which will be discussed all over the world and help make presence of India become stronger globally. Our country requires these sharp-minded and committed individuals to pave its path to the long-lost title of the Golden Bird. With this, I would like to end my session here. Thank you so much for your patience. I hope this session was worth your time. Thank you again.
Thank you, Ms. Mehak, for this remarkable presentation. Truly, your talk was wonderful. You have covered all of your objectives, right from functioning of the startups and NGOs in India to measures taken by government, and at last you have also told what positive initiative should an individual take on their own level. Really, you gave a very informative presentation, and I'm sure your talk would have given a lot of information to our listeners, and your talk might have aroused some of curiosity in the mind of listeners. Now, moving ahead, let us take some of the questions by our enthusiastic listeners. First question is from Mr. Saurav Singh. He's asking that how do you position our mindset, the feudal mindset, where most of us believe that a government job is the outermost goal? Do you think that this mindset is prohibiting us to excel in startups and in other sectors too? What are your views regarding this?
Yes, so Saurabh, this may be a reason because many of the youth today and many of the people in general demand security in their lives. They just want a fixed path that be just do college, then do job, and then just live their lives being an employee. People need to embrace uncertainty. That is the key, I think, that will help here because most of the people don't know. Even if you sit for an exam, maybe a government exam, you don't know what the result may be. Some people spend like 5 or 6 years just clearing IAS. They never are able to clear this, and actually they waste some precious years of their life, their youth, in just preparing for an exam. Maybe you can start a venture. You never know how it will unfold. And the best part about starting a new venture, maybe an NGO or maybe a startup, is that you will gain so lot of things in the process, and also you will make so many new connections with new people that will help you grow like professionally as well as personally. So yeah, this is my answer. I hope it answers your question.
Thank you, Ms. Mehak. I really agree with your answer. Now, the next question is from Ms. Samriddhi Kanpal. She's asking that, don't you think that in a country like India, concepts of startups and NGOs are rarely discussed in the family tables, probably because of the risk factor one considers? So how a startup could be a success without support? Do you think that this could also be a problem?
Yeah, see, actually, family support is one thing that you need like every time in your lives. Like, even if you're sitting for an exam, if your family doesn't wish you good luck, I mean, you will say that, yeah, they should wish me luck or something. You get that support from within, you get that vibes from within, that energy. So I think support is necessary, but I don't blame parents because, see, just as I said, right now the startup success rate is very low. But then again, it is because people quit too soon. If you ask about, like, if I give you an example, suppose Zomato, it was started in 2008, and I don't think anybody here knows about Zomato since 2008. तब तो I guess किसी को idea भी नहीं था. It took at least 5, 7, 8 years for them to reach this place to become such a big company of India. So I guess support with perseverance, persistence, and qualities like that, it is important for you to start your venture or for you to keep going on that path.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Mehak. Now, the third question is from Mr. Ajay Gupta. He's asking that India is having such a big working population, as you said, but then why we are not having a lot of startups successful in India?
Because the most of the working population is working for jobs for other companies, maybe MNCs. These may be like Indian companies, these may be foreign companies. People these days, like in most colleges, if you even ask about topmost colleges like IITs and IIMs, in those colleges also, at least 90% of the the student population sits for interviews, for placement interviews. They just want to be placed in one company. They don't go about searching for other opportunities. So that is the problem. The whole of the working population, at least 99% today, is doing jobs. They are working, but they're doing jobs, and they're not just innovating or inventing. So I guess there is where the problem lies.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Mehak. Now the next question is from Mr. Priyanshu Singh. He's asking that what part these new technology startups will play towards achieving $5 trillion economy.
So I think first of all, as you all know, technology is the answer for the future. Today, even for lighting, switching on your home lights, there's technology. There's technology everywhere, right? And India is far behind technology. If you see in terms of the world, it's Korea, it's USA, South Korea actually, and USA, and Japan, China. These are the nations that have the most advanced technological advancements of all time right now. India is far behind, and the point is, if we make more technology startups in India, we don't have to import it from other countries. So it will also save costs there, and if we make more technology startups in India, it will also create more employment opportunities, and then maybe we can even export a technology if it is like that good. So maybe this can help in raising our economy for a better future.
Thank you, Ms. Mehak. You gave great answers. Now that's all. Over to you, Ms. Mandi.
Thank you, Ms. Shubhi and Ms. Mehak. Now I would like to invite Ms. Divya to give a glimpse about our departmental magazine, JCC, Journal of Continuity and Change.
Thank you, Miss Manvi. Good evening, everyone. I am Divya Tyagi, and I am an editor in the magazine Journal of Continuity and Change (JCC) by graduates. So, first, let me introduce our team of editors. So, we have Miss Archana Bharti from BA Program third semester, myself from BA Program fifth semester, Ms. Deepa Tiwari from BA Honors fifth semester, Mr. Anand Joshi from BA Program fifth semester, and we have also added a new member. She's an editor. Miss Priyanka Verma from BA Program third semester. And for the PR manager, we have Mr. Radhya Tyagi, and our visual art head is Mr. Sahil Sharma. Now, Journal of Continuity and Change JCC by Graduates is a monthly magazine, which is an initiative by Sakshya, the Society of History Department of Shamlal College Evening. We publish our magazine every month with a new theme dealing with the social, political, or economic issue of the particular month. So far, we have published 4 magazines. Starting from the month of July, we launched the Population Bomb, which discussed the situation of the increasing population. Now, in the month of August, we celebrated Independence Day with the theme Fear and Courage. In the month of September, our theme was the next frontier to discuss the unexplored, unknown territory and the sustainable development goals for the future of the world. Now, for the month of October, we launched the magazine on the theme Incredible India, as we celebrated India and its incredibility. Now, for the next month, the theme will be reminiscing childhood. And as another year ends, we all grow 1 year older, but being old doesn't mean that we lose the child inside of us. We grow up, but we never grow old because we are tied to the beautiful memories of the past, especially our childhood. The month of November celebrates Children's Day. Therefore, the Journal of Continuity and Change by Graduates, 5th edition, is set on the theme Reminiscing Childhood. And such nostalgic memories of the childhood will be addressed through the narratives, poems, and the articles of the editors. Our magazine also includes the articles and poems, stories, book reviews, etc. of the budding scholars, which help shape their writing skills, their creativity, and confidence, and provides them a platform to publish their work. So this magazine is an attempt to take the readers on a journey of the past through the present to see the future. Now, JCC will help you have a better perspective of the contemporary issues and help you find light amid the darkness. Now, finally, we have the feedback form in the magazine where you can give your valuable feedback and suggestions for the magazine. I request all the students and the teachers, especially, to give their feedback on the magazine. Secondly, we have the subscription form as well. So, I would request everyone to subscribe to our magazine so that you can get the magazine as soon as we launch the next edition. So that is all, and I thank you everyone. I hope you enjoy the magazine. Over to you, Miss Manvi.
Give me 1 minute. Um, like uh, Manvi, hello. Give me. My voice is clear, Mehak.
Yes, sir, your
Yes,
voice
sir.
is
Yeah,
Yes,
clear.
yes.
yeah. Mehak, because we are having enough time right now, so your no doubt your presentation was very good, and we have gathered so many real things. But some of my students sent me one question to ask to you. I don't know.
Sure, sir,
So
sure.
yeah, the one question I don't know whether she or he some technical problem. So the question is also related to the technology. How you
Okay.
relate new technologies to the startups? Whether the new technologies, the gear ups, the new idea of a startup,
Yes, sir. So I will say
and the
about.
difference between the technology and the startups, because this is the very initial stage,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
your work, this work is obvious good. So can you give me these ideas, technologies and the startups, and difference between the technology and the startup?
Sure, sir, sure. So, see, first of all, I will start by explaining the difference between technology and startups. Not all the startups are technology driven, right? So, there are some startups like the big ones I told you the names, they have their applications, smartphone applications or something, but there are startups that have an offline base too. For example, I know there's one of my cousins that is why I know. She resides in the south, Tamil Nadu. She resides in Chennai. So she has an offline store and it is actually a stationery store. All right. She doesn't have any app or anything, but she does has an Instagram store so that the people on the net can also, get information about her. But her startup, if you say, is not actually driven through technology. One more example I would like to tell you. It was published in the magazine Your Story. There were three girls, three teenage girls, one 14 and two 15 years old. ठीक है? They invested 20,000 rupees by taking help from their parents, and they created a startup of customizing gifts. Like we purchase gifts, so they would customize gifts according to you. ठीक है? So their startup does not include any technology or anything. Their
ओके ओके
startup is
महक, आई रियली अप्रिशिएट। इसी से जुड़ा हुआ एक और क्वेश्चन है जो उसने
हाँ हाँ
क्या मतलब इस तरह के उसने लिखा है कि क्या इस तरह के आइडिया को जमीनी हकीकत ग्राउंड लेवल पे उतारना इंडिया के लिए सही होगा?
टेक्नोलॉजी बेस्ड तो
नहीं नहीं, किसी भी स्टार्टअप के आइडियाज को।
हाँ सर, सो इस क्वेश्चन का आंसर मैं देना चाहूंगी, लाइक क्यों नहीं, बिकॉज सर सी आजकल काफी सारे लोग सिर्फ जॉब्स के पीछे भागते हैं, एंड दिस थिंग अबाउट स्टार्टअप्स इज दैट इफ यू स्टार्ट समथिंग न्यू, समथिंग इनोवेटिव, इट कैन एक्चुअली हेल्प द सोसाइटी इन सम न्यू वे। देयर कैन बी सम डिस्कवरी दैट कुछ चीजें होती है जो किसी ने सोची नहीं होती, बट व्हेन यू स्टार्ट समथिंग बिकॉज यू जस्ट गॉट अ थॉट, सो इट कैन मे बी एड्रेस द प्रॉब्लम। आपको लगता है
Okay.
कि मार्केट नहीं है या कुछ नहीं है, बट इट मे हैव सम मार्केट इफ आई एम एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड योर
So I
क्वेश्चन
think
प्रॉपर्ली, आई थिंक.
startup is not market driven or market driven.
And now they can be both. If you're working for a social purpose, it may not be. But if you're working for making profit, then you have to see market.
And one more question, the last from because I have how an NGOs is useful for a student. This is the $1 million question. Yeah.
Yeah, NGO is actually very important, not only for students but for everyone. See, in India, not everyone is very well off. Okay? There are many communities which are underprivileged, marginalized, or something. And if we have some resources, we should provide them. The quality of empathy, sympathy, of helpfulness should be in everyone, and NGO exactly inspire people to do that. I have been connected for NGO for a month. My friend has been teaching an NGO for past 6 months. So if you have it, see, not everything is profit based. ठीक है, अगर हम हर चीज में पैसा देखोगे तो you just can't get anywhere.
Okay, Mehak, thank you very much. Thank you very much for these questions. So why not our college having any NGOs? Because you people are very like enthusiastic, and my students also very enthusiastic. Why
To
not we
be
start?
honest, so
Huh?
I actually suggested there is a chain of CDF chain, Childhood Dream Foundation. There is actually this organization that is in various colleges of DU. So I actually suggested about this
So
to.
you come this idea with the Gsts and we'll work on it.
So I
Huh?
surely
And
do.
Akif
I'm
sir is
more than
also there.
happy.
Thank you, Mehak. Over to you, Manvi.
Thank you.
Thank you. Great session. Thank you. Over to you, Manvi.
Thank you, everybody. Actually, Manvi's connection is not that well, so I'm taking over on her behalf. And Matt, I'm really sorry for you, but can we have one more question because one of my friends
Sure.
comes up, like he is asking the
Sure, I
question.
would love
No,
to. I
Ajay,
would love
Ajay, Ajay. Leave it, leave it.
So the question is very nice, sir. I
Acha,
really
okay,
want
okay.
to.
Go ahead, go ahead.
You have just given positive sides and challenges faced by NGOs in India, but we have not talked about how these NGOs have become barrier in national development goals of India. Listen carefully, because of GDP annually. Some of them are foreign funded, leading to civil frontier of war at some extent. But because of NGOs, our national projects and security is also in danger. What would you say? This question I really like. That is why I'm just insisting to ask this point.
Okay, actually, this question I even didn't have that much knowledge to be honest, but I will try to answer that. So about the thing that you said, ki they are hindering in the development process, right? So let me just give me a moment to think because this is something new
There is
to
no
me
issue.
as
There is
well.
no issue. If you and there is no. I can understand there is a
Yeah, yeah,
limited
because
scope
actually
of
this
your.
is a very interesting question. I would like to learn more about it because I was actually unaware of that fact to be honest. So yeah, this is the thing.
It's okay,
Maybe
man. It's okay,
It's all
man.
right, Max. There is no
I'm so
issue, Max.
sorry whoever's
It's okay.
question it was.
I
I'm
can
actually
understand. I can
almost
understand.
unaware.
You don't
I
have to.
can maybe research about it and get back to you later if
No,
that's not an
you
issue.
don't have to give explanation. I can understand. Your topic was at some other place, and he's asking some other
Yeah,
topic.
yeah.
I can understand. There is no issue. So moving on, as we have, as we are the history lovers and we believe in continuity is the key. So let's welcome the speaker of the next Sunday, Miss Mandira Paul, which will be addressing GSTS 42 in a series. And yes, Sakshi Fraternity appeals the budding listeners to come in next Sunday's event and experience the real Kolkata. I would say, believe me, it will be an Oscar deal to everybody. So Miss Mandira, if you're here, then you can begin with your.
কলের কলকাতা রে ভাই কলের কলকাতা হই চলে হাওয়া গাড়ি হুস হুস ট্রাম চলে ঠন ঠন রাস্তায় এইলো তো এইলো. This particular line is from the story of Subhash Mukhopadhyay where he stated that कलकत्ता है भाई कलकत्ता यहाँ ट्रम बड़ी बड़ी गाड़ियां सब चल रही है रास्ते में सिर्फ लोग ही लोग हैं कहीं भी मिट्टी का एक छोटा सा टुकड़ा भी नजर नहीं आ रहा सिर्फ ईंट पत्थर और सीमेंट ही सीमेंट है इस गजब के शहर में स्विच दबाने पर पानी गिरता है और स्विच दबाने पर सारा जहां रोशन भी हो जाता है यहाँ रात रात जैसा नहीं है दिन दिन जैसा नहीं है क्या देखा जितना देखा मैं तो सिर्फ देखता ही रह गया गुड इवनिंग एवरीवन माई सेल्फ मंदिरा पॉल स्टूडेंट ऑफ BA program in Shamlal College evening and I'll be presenting my talk on 28th of November 2021 on the topic Journey of the Kolkata. Yes, you heard it right, Calcutta. Bengalis fish and rice every day. Even we eat water. Amra jol khai. We like dance, music, poetry, Rabindranath Tagore, Rashogolla, Shandesh. Yes, yes, all it's true. But Calcutta is beyond everything. As I already told that my topic is Journey of Calcutta and my objectives are at first now how the city Calcutta formed. As the Kolkata, the city of joy, formerly known as Calcutta, is one of the India's largest city. The city is housed on the east bank of River Hooghly, which was one about main channel of River Ganges, about 96 miles upstream from the head of the Bay of Bengal. Secondly, I would be talking about why this city, Calcutta, became the center for the Britishers. Earlier, the city was the capital in India during the British rule in the year 1772. At last, I would be talking about the city without the life of people in the city. As as the city without people, it just incomplete. And the city is not only made up with the sand, cement, brick, and all. City is made up with the struggle of people, their emotion, which make the city more vulnerable. So to listen my complete talk, do join me on next Sunday, that is 28th of November 2021 at 5 p.m. on GSTS. So I request and invite all the respected teachers and all the audience to come next Sunday. Till then, dekha hobe. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Mandira. Thank you for giving us that reference about Kolkata, and we would surely be present in the next Sunday. So moving ahead, I would say teacher is the one who shapes and creates all other profession, even if it is a startup or an NGO. So I would like to invite Jacob sir again to give his insight, views, and opinion over the topic, talk, and event. So please welcome.
Hi everyone, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can.
Yeah. Uh, Today's event is really refreshing for me and a great learning experience for me as well. And once again, I would like to congratulate History Department for having this event. And uh, a deep appreciation to today's speaker, Mehak. She has done very well. Extremely good presentation, well informed and well researched. That's really appreciable.
Thank you, sir.
And being a teacher, it's easy to point out maybe always like even if I have to make a presentation, there's always a scope maybe for some room, some gaps for improvement. And Mehak has given us a good presentation, no doubt. And maybe for the sake of clarity, maybe in the presentation she could have given some list of maybe NGOs, maybe like some of the top NGOs working in India. And she has given some of the successful startups like Bezos, Walmart, etc. Maybe also she could have cited few examples where the started startups have failed. Maybe like paper tap, which started in maybe in 2014 and then it crashed in 2016. And this startup also raised about 51.2 millions in Indian rupee, something like this, so that the audience could follow it, and then it's more easy to understand what these startups are really and what these NGOs are really. What are the NGOs operating in India? Something like Azim Prinzi Foundation, maybe some of us must be hearing it, Bharti Foundation, or maybe even the foreign funded, like the Ford Foundation or Melinda Gates Foundation. What are they doing it? And what are the small NGOs, even at the state and district level, what are their contributions? Maybe if we could give some examples, maybe then the talks could be maybe widely appreciated more, like then we could connect it to, then it will be able to connect it to day-to-day life. What are these NGOs work really doing? Okay. Of course, she has given some example that she has participated in the teaching. I think that's really a good example, so that people can relate it to what really are we doing, what really are these NGOs doing. Okay. I think these are some of the these are few comments. No doubt these are just a comments, though, and please take it in a good, in a positive way.
Sure, sir. Thank you for your
Yes,
feedback.
and the work is extremely good, I should say. And if I have to give a grading, I would be giving her like A plus grading. Thank you very much, Mehak. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. And your words were highly appreciating and admiring, and I hope everybody here would have learned something from it. So every event has its starting and an end. So we are moving ahead at the end of our program. So I would like to invite Mr. Aradhya Tyagi to present the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Ajay. Good evening, everyone. I am Arad Detyagi, member of Sakshi, the History Society of Shamlal College evening. It's my privilege to have been asked to propose a vote of thanks today. I, on the behalf of all Sakshi team, extend a hearty vote of thanks everyone present here. Also, I wish to express my gratitude towards the guest of honor to Dr. Nekolin Hokif for his kind, encouraging, and informative words, and for giving us the precious time. Thank you so much, sir. Also, a big thank you to the star of program, Ms. Mehak Khandelwal, for her performance and making our evening informative. My sincere thank you to the all faculty member who who give their precious time from their day and become the part of this event. Finally, I wish to thank all the students from the various department for becoming the part of today's event. Thank you all so much. I would like to finally once again thank you so much and goodbye for now, and hope we to see you on next Sunday for Gsts 42 with Miss Mandira Paul on her topic Journey of Calcutta on 28th of November 2021. Thank you. Till then, stay tuned and safe. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Hake, for coming.